So what if you get a lead on a deal that has no monthly spread and really no reason for you to stay in it? Hey guys, it's Chris Pre. Welcome to another Deal Structure Sunday. I am with Mr. Bill Reich from Washington, D.C. No stranger probably to the Deal Structure Sunday. Mr. Bill, welcome.
Thank you, Chris.
I want to explain the opening to the folks watching, and it was to discuss an AO deal, which to us, if you're new, means assign out. It means that we go and get the same buyer we would in any deal that we had a property for, rent own, only we don't see a reason to stay in it. Sometimes that comes up at the beginning of the deal, and sometimes it comes up while you're marketing it. So if you have questions on the statement alone, just toss them in the forum here, wherever you're watching this. Might be Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are. So, Bill, let's talk about, okay, let's do source first, as usual. What was the source of this deal?
Source was, it was an expired listing, Chris.
Expired that you called, slide broadcast, just to give them an idea.
It was a slide broadcast, and it actually, the first call was initiated about a year ago.
There you go. So, okay, so there's another lesson there. It begs that people stay in business for at least a year.
At least.
Okay, so expired, slide broadcast. All right, before we get to numbers, which drove you to do an AO, any nuances at all with the seller or anything special?
Well, it's a very different property. It's a horse ranch. It's 10 acres. It's way up in northern tip of Maryland on the Pennsylvania border. And it's usually, if it's more than an hour and a half drive, you know, you've heard me grumble about that, but
yep.
This is close to 2 hours. But it's a beautiful property, and she and her husband have been there forever, and they've raised horses and they've boarded horses, and you know.
That's unique, I guess, for a property then.
It's very unique, and the situation here was she called me. In fact, it was at the business scaling event. She called me and she said, "Well, I decided to list it, and I tried for 9 months and it didn't work out. And you were right. I should have gone with you initially."
Okay, but another thought there. We get that all the time, don't we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just you got to put enough stuff in your funnel, and that'll happen. Okay, so you saw it at first. Was it one of the deals that you knew you had to go AO because it just was no reason to stay in, or did you say, "Let me play around, see if I can make numbers work"?
I wanted to play around. I always do that. I always want to check to see if there's a sufficient spread to cover what I feel may be a risk if I take that middle ground, that middle position. And in this case, because she had a hefty first trust and a pretty considerable second, she was negative to the tune of about $2,000 a month. And there was no way I was going to, sit in the middle of that one, even though her principal pay down is about $1,600 a month.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah, normally I'm willing to take a little bit of a negative cash flow to have the benefit of that kind of principal pay down. But in this case,
or break even. Yeah.
Or break even, absolutely.
And just so they hear this, sometimes Dave recently did it, one of the other associates. He had 2 deals that he had lowered it for marketing reasons almost to a break even. And then when he got them to the buyer's meeting, which we teach, not on this video, of course, but he got them up $1,600, $1,000 a month. So he made those deals work. But this one sounds like, that'd be asking a lot to pull $2,000 out of a buyer meeting.
Well, exactly. And I basically asked her how much she would be willing to cover if we went out on an AO basis. And she said, I would go the full $2,000 because she wants out. The purchase price is $799.9.
Okay.
Which is a bit less than I think what we could get reasonably in the market, but we wanted to see what the reaction would be if we could get somebody pretty quickly. There's good schools up in the area. It's a beautiful property. It really is.
What does she owe, Bill?
Chris, I don't have that.
Like ballpark. To give you guys an idea. When you priced it, you must have an idea.
Maybe $675 altogether.
Oh, okay. So then what did you tell her you'd get minimum to establish your AO fee? Do you remember?
I think we were at $740.
Okay, so there's still 60 grand to play with there.
Yeah.
All right. And did you tell her you'd give her any piece of the deposit?
No, she gets 0.
Okay, so you can get a full 60 out of this, whether it's day one or over time. Sweet. Okay. Now, what comes to mind, you probably already did this, but if not, we'll just do this live here. So if she's negative monthly, the only thing that comes to mind for me is morally and ethically, and to protect your buyer, to make sure that there's some mechanism where the seller is providing proof every month that the mortgage is being paid, so that your buyer doesn't have this foreclosure happening when they're in the house.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, they're solid financially, and I think it's a risk worth taking. But
Yeah. Oh, because it's not your risk.
No.
So everybody knows. I'm not saying this too because I know you know, but with an AO, you have your buyer and your seller sign a general release. You're released of all liability. So the reason I bring that up for you listeners is this: once Bill's done that deal, so he procures his buyer, he gets the paperwork done, he does the same sit-down attorney closing, he assigns that whole package over to the seller. The general release gets signed, and he's done, 100% done.
Yep.
Doesn't mean they won't bug him and ask him questions, because they do that. They get amnesia that you stepped away, but that's okay. That's just service and free referral land. But yeah, you want to have that mechanism in place for your buyer, not your risk.
Yeah, very much.
Cool.
So I invite her, and I make it known that if, and I have several AOs at this point. I think I've done maybe 4 or 5 up to this point. And they always feel free to reach out if there's an issue or question. And, we're here to serve our clients. And I think she'll be a good client if I could find somebody. Now, I just put it up last week, and lo and behold, I have somebody coming to look at the property tonight.
That's great. So that just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. So guy said, "Oh my God, I've always wanted to own a horse farm." So we'll see.
That totally unique. Okay, so let's talk to these guys about. We said if there's no spread, that's one reason to take it. If Bill wasn't upside down $2,000, or if the seller wasn't upside down $2,000, and it was like a break even, he could have taken it and said to them openly, "I don't know, I might stay in the middle. I might, he could have kept that door open."
Yep. And as you know, I'm really focused on building up the AO side of my business. Most of what I've done so far is sandwich leases, and I've been relatively happy with the performance.
Yeah.
But the AOs are nice. It gives you cash. It keeps you separated from any liability, which is a nice thing. And then I'm really focused on acquiring property subject to and owner financing. And I think I told you about the recent owner financing deal I took in. So
so it's a good mix, I guess, is where you're going with that. I would tell you to do a mix. We do very few, same as you, AOs, but you're not going to say no to that deal. If you just take it to market, you got nothing to lose. And that's what you say to the seller: "I'll take it to the market. I don't know where I'm going to be able to pull off." I'm sure you said that.
I've got a similar one that's it's over $1 million, and I said, "Sure, let's see what the market tells us." I'd be happy to do it. So I'm looking to achieve the balance of about 50% sandwich leases and then 50% others, somehow divided between AOs and buying subject to. I want to control a lot more property than I do, so the subject to is important, as is the owner financing deals.
So coming up, actually, it's right about now. Aren't you at about 18 months right now, like June-ish or July-ish? We're in July, but your time with us?
Yes.
Okay, and just to recap for those people that may have not have heard your story or seen it, the first 6 months, kind of learning curve, farting around, and then in the last 12 months, how many properties are you at? Like 14-ish, 15-ish?
I think it's 16 at this point.
16.
But who's counting?
No, I want them to hear that. That's awesome. Why? Okay, so before we wrap up, why else would these guys want to do an AO when they're brand new?
Cash flow, baby.
Cash flow, and no, like if the buyer defaults, they might call you to do it again. And we say that to the sellers: "Look, it's far and few between, but if they do, call me. We'll do it again, or go sell it on your own. But no sweat off your back, and it doesn't keep you up at night."
Exactly.
Now the negative: no principal pay down, no building, any cash flow or anything, but they're nice mix.
Yeah, there's no wealth building. It's strictly a cash flow play with no liability on your part, which is comforting.
Yeah, the big checks are nice and move on.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, one last thought. I don't know when this video is going to come out, Bill, but because we do 2 annual events and they're every 6 months, this is before one of the events. I don't know which one, but why would these guys want to attend either Business Scaling Secrets or QLS in general? I know you're a big advocate, so you can just give a couple thoughts if you want.
You mean aside from the opportunity to meet me in person?
Yes. On that note, I should have said that Bill's a certified coach, one of 3. So that is, it is truly a good reason, even though you are being funny. That's a good reason.
It's my nature, Chris. I can't help it. The learning experience, just the people there, being able to meet with the associates, and as much as goes on in the room, I think what's important is what goes on outside of the room and the knowledge you pick up just standing out in the hallway talking to people. And for newbies, for people who are really looking to build a business, I can't imagine a better place to be. Just the flow of knowledge and the openness of the associates, and you guys put together a heck of an event. I've been to a lot of these things, and yours is far and away the best, just from a pure knowledge standpoint as well as entertainment standpoint. You guys put on a heck of a show. I can't wait for the QLS in September.
Yeah, no, I can't wait either. And if they've seen this before, then maybe they are. It's going to be the biggest yet. But we say it every year because every year it's almost doubles in size, and we sell out. So I hope that was helpful, guys. The AO deal is simple as it gets, but we wanted to feature that because I don't think I said to Bill before we filmed that we've done one, and if we did, it was a long time ago. So AOs is simple. I forget what mod it's in the QLS video program. I think it's mod 5. But if you're new and you're not in QLS video program yet that lives on Smart Real Estate Coach Academy, we go through everything Bill just talked about, the sandwich mod, the subject to mod, the owner financing mod, the AO, that's all in there. And we update it constantly. We just did a bunch of filming last week, Bill, so the mods will be updating yet again. So any last minute thoughts, nuggets, ahas?
Now, if this does come out before the QLS and there's still room, I would urge everybody listening to this to sign up and come join us. Yeah,
for sure. It can be a blast. Guys, thanks for tuning in. If you have questions about the simple AO deal that Bill went over with me briefly, go ahead and put them right here, wherever here is for you, YouTube or Facebook or other. You can also email support@smartrealestatecoach.com. If you have not yet, jump over to smartrealestatecoachpodcast.com. Check it out, subscribe, and leave a rating and a review, because every single week now we're giving away a gift card, $25 Visa gift card. We pick one review, not for everybody that does a review, but we pick one, and you could win a gift card. So tune into that and look forward to seeing you at the event. Bill, thanks for being on again, buddy.
Thank you, Chris. Talk to you soon.